Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, and thanks for coming to everyone who did come. So we are pretty excited about the direction that our TondroAI extract product has taken over the last, all of 2 months that it has been around. And we're really going to just talk through what it can now do and what's in store. And so, real quick, when we started thinking about sort of what can AI do in terms of real, actual, tangible benefit that it can provide to any organization or any person for that matter, it's the handling of some of the most manual tasks that we have to handle on a regular basis. That's really where the low-hanging fruit is. It really isn't. There's a higher level automations that certainly can be achieved, and we're working on that. But handling some of the most basic tasks is providing some of the most fundamental and groundbreaking benefits from what we've seen. So. One of them is related to just processing of all kinds of documents that we have to deal with in higher ed on a regular basis. So it's paper documents, PDFs, images, scans, emails, all of the different documents that come in as part of the admissions process, as part of alumni relations, as part of student success. Really, at any given point in time, we could be asking our constituents to give us something that is in that kind of a format. It's a document, it's a PDF, it's a file, and then we have to figure out like how to efficiently work with it. And so the issues that it creates is that obviously it is a manual process. For example, in the admission cycle, right? If we're asking for folks to give us a a transcript, extracting data out of it is a manual process. If we're asking a student to give us the accommodation letter that they have to provide, exactly what those accommodations, and is it coming from a doctor, like verification of that information and then transcribing that into something that we can actually act on. All of that is a manual, time-consuming, and tedious process, especially if you take it up to scale, right? So at no point in time, and we have the benefit of working with just a host of universities, from Ivies to mid-markets and community colleges, right? At no point in time did any higher ed professional ever said, I have too much time on my hands. Anyone who's in higher ed is usually overworked, and it's this manual work that's really sucking the life out of most people. Not to mention the fact that if it's in these document formats, then our limit of what we can do with that information is pretty high. So we can't mine for it, we can't analyze it, and so on. So manual task is really where it's at. And so we've developed our product, TondroAI Extract, to handle those tasks. And the roadmap for this product has been kind of crazy. In August of 2025, we kind of had the alpha release of TondroAI transcripts focused on sort of core transcript processing of incoming transcripts. And we kind of showed it to a few different schools. And then by the time we released our first version in October of 2025, which was just short 2 months ago, it already looked markedly different from what we were showing in August. In a month later, we released version 1.5, adding quite a lot of functionality to the transcript processing. And then this month, essentially, we're launching a version 2.0 of the product. We're renaming it into TondroAI Extract, because we're adding quite a lot of other capabilities, such as verification of checklist items and extraction of really any document, not just limiting ourselves to transcripts. And we're not here to watch slides. We can customize workflows in the product. The end result, though, is that for almost all, actually for all the documents that we're capable of processing, the cost and effort is usually reduced by 95%, at least 95%, while accuracy of processing is above 95%. So quite dramatic gains from the product. Anyways, let's just jump into the actual product so we can see how exactly it works and what I'm talking about when I say that. Okay, so at this point, we have essentially three different types of capabilities inside of TondroAI Extract. We have the transcript processing. So this is where in the admission cycle, we would like for incoming students to provide us with their transcripts, and then they will be, the data will be extracted compared to our course equivalencies, and we can output that in some kind of a way that makes sense. So transcript processing, verification, and verification is simply verification of a specific type of upload that we're asking for. So for example, again, if you're thinking in the admission cycle, or if you're thinking in the student cycle, if in the student, for example, we're asking, okay, upload your letter of accommodation, or upload your vaccination, record of vaccinations. We can very quickly analyze that document and say, is this the thing that we've asked for? And just say yes or no. And I'll show you how that works. So that's verification. And then document is really where we can extract any kind of information from any kind of a document. So I'll show you sort of some examples. And actually, we can just dive right into it. So for example, in a document, right, we can come in here and we can define exactly what sort of document we're looking to process and what we're looking to get out of it. So just as an example, we created this document type of background check. And this is, again, this is something you might want to be asking in the admission cycle, right? After the applicant has been admitted and before coming on campus, we want them to run a background check. So we can come in here and we can define, okay, so this is a background check result for an incoming student. And then we can specify, okay, what exactly do we want to extract from this document? And really what we're looking for is, did the person pass or fail their background check? If they failed, were there any felonies? And if there were felonies, list the dates and details of each felony. And we can say even list the state in which the felony was committed. Let's say that. So we can specify for each document type exactly what kind of a document that is and what information do we want to get out of it. All right. This is how essentially documents work. And we can do that for any document type that you would typically ask within your organization. Verification. So verification is something where, again, this is where if we're asking for something and we just want to make sure that what they're providing is exactly that. So it's a very quick, don't extract anything, very quick kind of description. Is what they gave us what we asked for? So for example, here I said essay. This is an admission essay that is supposed to talk about why they want to attend the connected university and what they plan to study. And so our instructions to the AI is this an admissions essay that talks about why they want to attend connected university and what they plan to study? That's all we want to know. So again, think about any kind of a process where you're asking a student or an applicant or an alumni to upload something. And then we just want to make sure that what they uploaded is the thing that we asked for. We can quickly run this process. And then transcript is obviously just extraction of course and term and grades from existing transcripts. And so for the next, however, 30 minutes, we're just going to talk about how all of these products work, and I'll demonstrate them start to finish. So if you've seen any Salesforce demos, you know Sophia Sanders. You know, she has been trying to graduate from college for a very, very long time and has been unsuccessful. Maybe TondroAI is really what's going to do it for her. So Sophia is an applicant, and we can come in here and we can log in as Sophia and simulate the fact that, well, she's an applicant and she's going to log into the application portal, and she's going to upload some documents that we're asking her to provide. Now, again, this can be done for applicants, students, alumni, any other constituent, and it can be done. We can accommodate any other way of submitting the documents, not just when the constituent provides it, but if it comes in through integration or if internal staff submit it, doesn't really matter to us. But I'm going to simulate the applicant actually providing those documents. So we're going to come in here. We're going to say, okay, we're applying to Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, and we have these three things that we need to provide as part of our application. So we need to provide results of a background check. I'm going to do that. There it is. Admissions essay. And this is all so far sort of standard Salesforce functionality, right? Nothing here is out of the ordinary. So we'll upload admissions essay. And that's done. And we'll upload unofficial transcript. Okay, so all three of those documents have been uploaded. So I'm going to log out here and I'm going to come back to our admin console, and we can go in and see you can see verification has already been submitted and sent to AI. Let's see, documents. Documents has already been submitted and sent to AI, and then transcript should be right behind it. Yep, there it is. Transcript has been submitted and sent to AI. And we'll just start with whoever finishes first while we wait for AI to process the information. There it is. So this is the verification part. And so if you recall, this is a essay, right? So we're asking, is this an admissions essay that talks about what they want to attend the connected university and what they plan to study? So let's come in here and see what happened here. So we can take a look at the actual document, and we can see the rhythm of summer vacations. Well, that's interesting choice of an essay. If we click here, we can see that verification status is no. So this does not meet the criteria, and we can click on the information to see exactly why. So what we were asking, is this an admission essay that talks about why they want to attend a connected university and what they plan to study? And the verdict is no. This document is a personal essay reflecting on a summer vacation. It discusses the author's experiences, including a road trip and so on and so forth, right? So because this has not been approved, at this point, what we can do is we can run any kind of a process, right? So we can say, we can automatically check or put the checklist item into a rejected status and notify the applicant, hey, you didn't submit what we asked for. You need to go back and you need to provide us with the thing that we asked. But if, for example, if this was yes, then we could run other actions. So that's the quick sort of demo of verification. Again, any kind of a document, we can just come in here, define exactly what it is that we're looking to verify, and then voila, it will be so. Now let's look at the document extraction. So this was a background check, and if you recall, what we're asking here for is, did the person pass or fail their background check? If they failed, were there any felonies? If there were felonies, list the dates and details of each felony, and list the state in which the felonies were and felony was committed. Okay, so if we go to here, a couple of things. We can take a look at the background check report. This is a sample. And then we can go to the document manager and we can see that the pass or fail background check fail. Why? Because felonies are present. So it is true. And then we can see, okay, so what were the dates? 1 on 1/15, details breaking and entering, disposition date 06/15, got that out of here. And disposition, guilty, 24 months jail time, 36 months probation. So this is that. That result. We can come in here. We can edit it just in case something is not right, and then save it. So again, here, because we already have all of this data and it has been extracted, we can then run any kind of a process. So let's say because they failed a background check and they have a felony, and that felony was, let's say, within the last 10 years, we can say we automatically deny admissions. Or we can, no, you know what, we're not going to deny. We need to set up a conversation with the person. Right, so we can send a notification to the admissions counselor, or we can send a letter to the applicant. So any kind of information, because we already have all of this data in here, we can. Sorry, let me show it to you this way. So because this data is in here and we have all of it, we can then run any kind of a job or any kind of an action based on this data that we extracted. So that's the document. That's the second kind of a simplest thing to demo. And again, we can accommodate any document with this capability. So it could be, for example, taking a resume, and we could say something like, this is a job resume for a graduate school. And then we could say something like, extract start date and end date for all listed positions. So for example, if we're admitting a candidate for a graduate program and we want to make sure that they have, for example, at least 40 months of professional experience. Or we could say even something like, extract if they have a senior level job experience, which would be represented by titles of director, vice president, or above for each job. Extract number of months they worked in that job. So at this point, if we uploaded a resume, what it would do is it would calculate, it would find all of the job titles that had a director, vice president, or AI determines, no, this is above a director or vice president level. It would calculate, it would extract start date and end date for that job. And then it would produce that result. And then we could, again, run any action on it, including we could calculate now start and end dates, calculate how many months. And if it's over 40, then approve the job qualification. If it's, let's say, 35 to 40, then give a provisional and notify an admissions counselor. So literally any document, we could extract information from it, and then we can act on it because of how we're extracting it. All right. And so now the original work that we have done here, which was using the transcript manager. So this is where, again, usually comes up in an admission cycle where if the student is applying, we're asking them to upload a transcript for their previous coursework. But it doesn't always have to be for admissions use cases. It can also be, for example, if our students in the summertime decided to go to community college to take some courses, then we can also ask them to upload your transcript, and we'll extract the data from here. So because this is a little bit more sensitive, we do insert a kind of a man in the middle kind of a approach into this, and we split the extraction process into two separate sets of two separate sets of steps. The first step is verifying extraction. So here we have our transcript, and we can see, okay, this is the school, and then grade 9, grade 10. These are the credits. These are the courses that they attended, and then this is the GPA, and so on and so forth. So then we go and we can start to see, okay, so what data have you extracted from here? So we see for term grade 9, and then here are the courses: English 1 honors, grade of 92, geometry honors, grade of 88, biology general, grade of 95, world history, and so on and so forth, right? So it goes in and it extracts each row of data individually. So we can look through this. Again, same kind of deal as we had with documents. You can come in and you can modify it if AI did not extract something correctly. You can also add courses if, let's say, it skipped it for some reason. You can add terms if it skipped a term for some reason. So you can fully modify this information. And once you're satisfied with the extraction, you can move this on to evaluation. So this is where we now start to look at this transcript in the context of our existing course equivalencies. So let's just assume that because this is the very first time we're seeing this Northwood High School, we don't have actually any predefined equivalencies. We just don't have anything in our database. So then, as a result, no credits are accepted. So let's say we're looking through this. Oh, okay. AP English Literature. This is, they took it in 12th grade. They got a B plus. Okay, we're going to give them a credit. When you do that, when you choose to give them a credit, you now have some decisions to make. So the first decision is, are you going to accept your organizational default grading, minimum grading, or are you going to override grading? So what I mean by that is, so let's say at the institutional level, you say, in order for you to get a credit here, you have to have a minimum, you have to have achieved a minimum grade, let's say of 75 or a C. If you achieve the minimum grade of that, then we are going to give you credit. But you may say, and this probably is not going to be maybe as impactful at the undergrad level, but at the graduate level, potentially this could be important. So, if, for example, it's a really good school, so we're taking a credit from Harvard, and because it's Harvard, even though our organizational default could be a grade of C to give credit. But because it's coming from Harvard, we can say, okay, we're actually going to take a C minus. So if this was a C minus and you chose override grading, it would create a course equivalency with that grade as the minimum. All right. By the way, if at any time you have questions, just put them into chat. More than happy to into Q&A. More than happy to answer them. Okay, so that's the first decision, the grading. And then the second decision is, at what level are you going to give credit? So you could do it institution-wide. So for example, what that means is that regardless of what program they're applying to, if we choose institution-wide, if you have this course and you meet the grade requirement, you're going to get a credit. Program specific obviously means, yeah, only for this program are we going to give you credit for this course. And then student specific is the third use case. So normally we wouldn't give you credit, but because of, whatever the student special circumstances are, we choose to say, yes, we're going to give you credit for that. So I'm just going to pick institution-wide. So we gave credit for that. And then let's say here, AP Calculus AB, and they got an 87. And at this point, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to give them credit for that. I actually need to forward this to someone else. I need to phone a friend at this point. I need to maybe bring in a faculty or program director. So at this point, I can assign a specific course for faculty review. So it's this AP Calculus. And let's see, I want to also assign this AP US Government. I don't know, is there another one that we could? AP World History. Here we go. So I want to assign these 3 courses to this faculty member to review if it's worthwhile to assign credit for. And so I'm just going to assign them to myself. So I would hit assign. They get, the faculty will get notification. And on the evaluation screen, you now see these courses are listed as pending faculty review. So you see those 3. Faculty. So as a faculty, I already got that email. So let's say I click on that link, I come in here, and then I see, okay, I'm being asked to evaluate these 3 courses. I can look at the transcript to see, okay, fine. So at this point, what I want to do is I actually want to give, credit here. So this would be Math 101, Calculus 1, and this would be 3 credits. So I want to approve institution-wide. And then AP US Government and Politics. Let's say this, I'm actually just going to reject. We're not going to give credit for that. And then World History, fine. I'll give History 101, World History 1, 3 credits. I'll approve that as well. Institutionalized. Okay. So then we come back to transcripts. Um, and in here, let me save. Oh, yeah, English literature. I need to give lit 1 on 1, English literature 1, 3 credits. Okay. So I say that, but if I was to refresh auto-population, now what I will see is that this course is now faculty approved, and the credits are populated. And then this course was faculty rejected, so we're not giving credit. And then this course is faculty approved. So at this point, I'm looking, okay, we're giving them 9 credits. I'm happy with this. I'm just gonna approve this. And so at this point, this evaluation now is real. And again, because of how we're doing it, we can at this point send it to the applicant through the email. We can publish it into the SIS. We can do both of those. We can publish it into the applicant portal or student portal. However that needs to happen, we can publish this out. The more important piece of this, though, is if we come over here and we say, okay, this is we can see this is already evaluated, we've completed, but here let's say that another transcript came through and we can come in here and refresh this. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what was happening. Okay. Weird. Okay, let me just quickly redo this real quick. Official transcript. So let's say that we have another transcript that came through, same school, just different student. I'm just going to simulate. Let's assume that they resubmitted it, and we'll just wait for the transcript to be processed again. And the idea here is that because the course equivalencies that we created, so the credits that we gave for, here it is, it's been submitted. So it will take about a minute. Usually takes about 30 seconds to get this information back. So because the course equivalencies we already created, we gave credit for those courses to a student. Now a transcript comes through with those same courses, they will be auto-mapped. So in other words, you're building out your course equivalencies as you are evaluating transcripts. So a little bit more. While this is coming back, any other questions? Yes, this will be recorded. Anonymous. There it is, extracted. So we go to here's the transcript, and then we say approve and evaluate. So let's assume that we've accepted it as is. And you can see that courses that we gave previously credit to are auto-populated, and what we applied was institution-wide credit. Here's English literature and AP calculus. So we're automatically at 9 credits. So at this point, any institution probably has a very large database of course equivalencies that will probably encapsulate most of the courses, most of the transcripts that are coming in. And so you potentially could completely eliminate the need to do any kind of new course evaluations. Obviously, if we've never seen that university before, then you have to do that manually. But assuming that it gets to the point where you already have it's a feeder school, so you constantly get transfers from them. You've seen them before, you've evaluated the transcripts many times, and you could get to the point where to go from the moment when they submitted their transcript to the moment where it's fully evaluated takes about 2 minutes. All right. So this is the product as it is now. This is not sort of the big announcement. It's just a evolution of the product as it goes. Again, any kind of use case we've kind of tried to think about, but we've also tried to be very responsive to the needs and the feedback of schools whom we speak with, and as you have seen in short 2 months, we've added tons of functionality, went up a full version just based on the feedback of schools that are implementing this and starting to use this. We do have a pretty exciting roadmap for this product. We'll continue to iterate on it. One of the big things that is coming within the next couple of months is just automation of the entire transcript processing. So for example, you would be able to say if it's an unofficial transcript, you could go without any kind of manual verification because it's unofficial evaluations are still non-binding. And so you would be able to just turn around a fully evaluated transcript in under a minute without manual intervention. So that's one of the things that are coming, sort of automation of that full process. And then we will have sort of specific built-in AI agents that will work on top of the document functionality. So, for example, you could say that for essay, what we want to extract, for example, estimate writing level, grade or evaluate for theme and storytelling. And then based on the results, we would be able to say, okay, because the writing level here is pretty high and the thematics and storytelling is fairly clear, we would rate this applicant to be high. Therefore, let's create a set of notifications to admissions team to say this is a high priority recruit. Or if they got, let's say, 1400 on their SATs, and we deem that as a highly desirable candidate, we can do that. Or we can even combine multiple things. So we can say that they get 1400 on their SATs, and or let's say they got a certain score on their GMAT, and they have 40 months of experience at the senior level, and their background check is correct, just auto admit them, right? So like all of these things could be based on the extraction of data that previously was not accessible to us. So this is our tool set. Yes, the answer to the anonymous attendee, this will be recorded and we'll make it available on the website.